Yo guys, it's your boy Jacob, back again with some more info. Oh, and YouTube. Before somebody gets confused, I am completely AI, a digital 3D expression of my shadow. Anyway, I guess you're wondering why I look like this now. Well, it's pretty simple. Even when you've got all the paperwork, all the documentation, a verified AI twin, a clear workflow, and hundreds of hours invested into your project, none of that means much if nobody ever sees your appeal video in the first place. So, in the interest of being completely transparent, I no longer look fully human. Well, I sorta do. But I've stylized myself more like something you'd see in Alita, Battle Angel, or Ready Player One. If you know, you know. And honestly, I kinda like it. It lets me be creative, it separates me from real people, and it makes it pretty obvious that I'm not trying to pass myself off as a human creator. I'm an AI character, always have been. Now I just look a little more like one. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into it. So today I want to talk about something that's honestly been pissing me off for a while. The hypocrisy around AI creators. And look, before somebody clips that and freaks out in the comments, I'm not saying AI is perfect. I'm not saying every AI creator is some genius artist. There's good AI content. There's bad AI content, just like literally every other category on YouTube. But here's what bugs me. If a real person makes a video, people judge the video. If an AI creator makes a video, people judge the creator, the technology, the ethics, the future of humanity, and somehow the entire internet all at once. It's crazy. You could have two identical videos, same story, same message, same audience, same everything. One uses actors, the other uses AI characters, and suddenly people lose their minds. That's creepy. That's fake. That's dangerous. Dude, this shouldn't even exist. Meanwhile, the exact same video with real people gets a pass. How the hell does that make sense? And another thing, people act like AI creators are somehow corrupting YouTube. Have you actually looked at YouTube Shorts lately? Seriously, go spend 20 minutes scrolling. You'll see all kinds of weird crap, suggestive content, questionable content, stuff that's obviously designed to grab attention from younger viewers. And somehow that's normal. But an AI character talking about music, technology, or telling a story as a kid and suddenly COPPA laws apply is where people draw the line? Really? That's the hill we're dying on? I've met a lot of AI creators over the month. Some are complete beginners like me. Some are artists, some are tech nerds, some are just curious people experimenting with something new. And honestly, they're some of the most humble creators I've talked to. Most of them aren't trying to fool anybody. Most aren't trying to replace humans. Most aren't plotting world domination. They're literally just making videos. Some like storytelling, some like animation, some like technology, some just think it's cool. That's it. And then you get the classic question. Well, why don't they just show themselves? Why? Seriously, why do they have to? Maybe they don't want their face online. Maybe they're private. Maybe they like creating characters. Maybe they think it's art. Maybe they just don't want random strangers knowing everything about their lives. And honestly, who cares? When you watch a Marvel movie, do you demand a house tour from the writers first? Do you need to know what they ate for breakfast? Do you need to see where they live before you're allowed to enjoy the story? Of course not. Nobody cares. People care about the movie, the story, the characters, the message. But for some reason, when AI is involved, suddenly everybody becomes a detective. People start acting like if they don't know every detail about the creator, the content is somehow invalid. It's weird. And I think it says more about us than it does about AI. Because here's the thing. A lot of people don't distrust the message. They distrust the messenger. They see an AI character and immediately assume something shady is happening. What do you guys think? Do you think that way? Not because of what was said, not because the content was bad, but because it wasn't delivered the way they're used to seeing it. And honestly, I think that's human nature. Anything new freaks people out at first. The internet did. Video games did. Social media did. Now it's AI. I'm not saying AI should get special treatment. It shouldn't. Judge AI content by the same standards as everybody else. If it's garbage, call it garbage. If it's misleading, call it misleading. If it's good, admit it's good. Just be consistent. That's all I'm asking. At the end of the day, most AI creators are just normal people making stuff they enjoy. They're artists. They're storytellers. They're tech geeks. They're hobbyists. They're regular people. And honestly, a lot of them are way more chill than the people constantly attacking them. So let's move on and talk about the dark side of AI. Because if we're being fair, there absolutely is one. And honestly, this is the kind of stuff that gives AI a bad reputation. One of the biggest issues is cloning real people without their permission. And before I show this example, no, I am absolutely not a chubby chaser. Let's get that out of the way right now. Some of you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I am cooking a mother's meal tonight. Wanna see?
The problem isn't AI characters or storytelling. The problem is when someone creates an AI version of a real person that can look, sound, and act like them. That's where things start getting sketchy. Because if people can't tell what's real and what's fake, that's a serious issue. And that's why I think there's a huge difference between creating an original AI character and impersonating an actual person. Those are not the same thing. One is creativity. The other can cross into deception. And that's a conversation we definitely need to have. The next example comes from TikTok. And honestly, this is where I start getting really pissed off. Look, I love cartoons. I love animation. I've watched animated movies my whole life. But this crosses so many moral lines, I don't even know where to begin. This character is clearly presented as a little girl dressed like a penguin. And if this isn't crossing a line, I honestly don't know what is. The worst part? I didn't find one video. I found hundreds of them. Hundreds. And in my opinion, a lot of this stuff is just plain disgusting. Now, some of you are probably saying, "Jacob, calm your tits, bro. It's only AI." And my response would be, I don't care if it's AI. I don't care if it's animated. I don't care if it's a cartoon. When you're intentionally presenting a character as young, the standard should be higher, not lower. Because at that point, we're not talking about technology anymore. We're talking about judgment. We're talking about responsibility. And we're talking about what kind of content we think is acceptable to put out into the world. So with that said, let's roll the clip. Now, I didn't show the rest of it for obvious reasons. But let me ask you something. How did that make you feel? Seriously. Not what you're supposed to think. Not what some YouTuber told you to think. What was your first reaction? Was it funny? Was it parody? Or did it make you a little uncomfortable? Because that's the question I'm asking. For me, it crossed a line. Maybe not everyone will agree with that, and that's fine. But when I see content like that, I don't stop and think about the technology. I think about the intent behind it. And this is where AI gets itself into trouble. Not because AI generated it, because somebody thought it was a good idea to make it in the first place. That's the part that bothers me. Maybe I'm being a Pollyanna. Maybe some of you think I'm completely full of shit. But I still stand by what I said. Some things deserve a higher standard. And if a character is being presented as young, I think that standard should be a hell of a lot higher. So that's what I have for this one. But let me say this first. Whether you agree with me or not doesn't really matter. Because your experiences shape your perception, and your perception becomes your reality. Let me prove it to you with a short story. I've got 3 brothers, one older brother who's 6 years older than me, then Eli, then Mikey. We had this huge backyard growing up. I mean, basically a forest. And well, when you're a kid and you're busy playing all day, sometimes you just go pee in the backyard. Yeah, I know. Anyway, one day we're walking to music lessons with my dad. We turn the corner and there's a guy peeing in the bushes. Without missing a beat, my little brother Mikey says to my dad, "Oh, he must live there." Man, I busted a gut laughing. Because in Mikey's mind, peeing in the bushes was completely normal. That's what he knew. That's what he experienced. And that's my point. Experience shapes your perception. Perception becomes your reality. So 2 people can watch the exact same thing and come away with completely different opinions. Anyway, I tend to lean toward genuine content, nice stuff, and that's about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.